Welcome to another week here of Huddle Up on Northwest Access Television. I'm your host, Paul. Back for week 4 of the NFL. Plenty to talk about, plenty that's gone on week 3, including a lot of upsets. Dustin and I's worst week to date. But joining us to our right, a familiar face. JT, back
He's
again.
alive. He's back.
Back again.
Back from the dead.
It's been, what, a couple months now?
It's been one month.
1 month?
1 month.
When did you come back? Was it one of my first times back after paternity leave?
Didn't we do a show together without Paul?
Oh, that's right, yes.
Yeah. One show together without Paul.
Right.
And then you
So maybe
were
a
gone.
month and a
I
week.
haven't seen you
For
in a
like
couple months.
2 months.
On the show.
Yeah.
But yes, Dustin has seen you. So, welcome back. Nice to see you, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and in the same clothes you wore yesterday.
I hope your hot takes
Literally.
are as good as before you left.
You what?
Your hot takes.
Oh my God. Yeah, so I'm looking for a lot of back and forth between you two because I've just missed it. I feel like I need that back in my life.
I'm sure there'll be plenty.
I feel like I miss yelling at you, and I was so excited when I was driving in.
Wait. I think it's the other way around. I think
Well,
he missed yelling at you.
Maybe. I don't know how it is, but I saw that you were coming this morning on the Facebook post. I was like, all right, I'm going to get back to yelling on Huddle Up, and I missed that for the longest
Dustin and
time.
I, Dustin going 6-10 last week, Paul 8-8, and it really was to no fault of our own. This is just the way the NFL works.
Football has been stupid this year.
Yes, it has.
Unpredictable.
Completely
and
unpredictable.
fantasy football has just been insane.
I'm 0-3, and I have a pretty solid team. And
That's
it's just like,
still not surprising to us.
I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I have...
Who are you starting?
I
Hold
have
on.
to-
No, we can do this. We can do this. We can help you week to week.
You want to start...
You're starting. We'll just set your lineup for you.
Let me
and then you
show
don't have
you
to
my
worry
team.
about
My
it.
team here is Dak Prescott, Marshawn Lynch, Julio Jones, T.Y. Hilton, Jason Witten, Alshon Jeffrey. On my bench, I have Marcus Mariota, Javarius Allen, Latavius Murray, Sterling Shepard, Jimmy Graham. My kicker is Dan Bailey. My defense is the
Your
Patriots.
bench
and the
Regardless-
might be the worst bench I've seen all year.
However, his starting lineup, that's pretty decent.
Like, I should
Fair
not...
enough.
I actually
not
have no
bad.
problem
I
with that
should not be 0-3 if that's starting lineup.
I agree with you.
Football has just been so stupid this year.
This is my question. Who's available on the waiver wire?
Oh, there's nobody available.
You're in a
waiver
12-man
wire.
league, right?
I'm in a 12-man league.
that's why.
The waiver wire is...
So I have a question for you on fantasy. So I had the option this morning, and I picked it up. I dropped a whatever wide receiver for my team, but I had Alex Smith going this week, and he's going up against. I got to find it now.
Denver?
So I have Oakland. So I have Derek Carr going against Denver, and I have Alex Smith going up against Washington.
Oh, yeah,
And I went,
Washington.
ooh, those matchups aren't really. That's not like quarterback friendly.
No.
It's far from quarterback friendly. But someone that was on the waiver wire was Carson Palmer. Now I know he didn't have the greatest of games against. They didn't get the win.
He hasn't
but his
had greatest
stats,
games all year.
but his stats were pretty good.
But his stats are there.
Right. So and they're
Garbage time stats.
and they're playing the 49ers this week. So I thought, all right, maybe that's at home. So they're playing in Arizona. So all right, maybe that's a good thing. So I picked him up off the waivers. I'll probably drop him next week because there's no reason for me to keep him on after that. But I thought he was the best option.
My
going
only
forward.
concern for Palmer is that he's playing the 49ers.
Right.
It's
there
not going
is
to be a high-scoring event.
And there is a secondary reason why I did this. The person I'm facing this week has Larry Fitzgerald. So it's almost like I can kind of cancel those points out. It's not going to be, he's not going to be tacking them on to me. I kind of always side with that. If I can start the quarterback and they've got a wide receiver or vice versa, at least I would rather clearly have the wide receiver because I'm getting points for reception, stuff like that. But I think it always cancels out depending on who you throw to.
Yeah, I mean, the downfall of that is, I mean, you are trying to cancel out points, but you're also taking away the ability to outscore him nonetheless.
So what would you say to someone that's okay? So what would you say to someone that's trying that takes that kind of
I'd
strategy?
look for Eli this week.
Ooh, I had Eli.
This is the week I'd look for Eli
Against Tampa?
Against Tampa Bay. Their secondary is weak. Tampa Bay can score the ball, so you're gonna get into a shootout. He's got to throw the ball. With Odell getting healthier, they're fighting for their lives just to stay alive at this point, hoping they can somehow magically make the playoffs.
The worst team in New Jersey.
I mean,
The Jets have a win.
but this is the point.
That's amazing.
This is the week you look at Eli, and I picked him up in 2 of my leagues for that sole
For this
reason.
week.
Just for this week. He's gone after this.
Who are your
I have
other
nothing to
options
do
for
with
this
him.
week?
I have who do I have? I have Wentz, and I have.
Now, Wentz was an interesting one to me too, because he was actually also on the waivers for me to pick up too, and I know that he's been doing very well this year. So, what was the reasoning for not picking up this week against? And I'm going to forget against the Chargers.
Wentz's numbers have been okay. The downfall is they're still trying to figure out run pass.
Wentz throws some bad interceptions too.
If the running game is going, he'll rely on the running game, as we saw with the Giants game. Is they got the running game going. They were running the ball well. Wentz only threw for like 170 yards, maybe. That's not going to cut it, not fantasy football wise. So when I look at matchups, and it also depends on the league. My leagues have bonus levels for 300 yards, for that kind of
Most
stuff.
do.
So when I look at a quarterback, I need someone that's going to throw the ball and throw the ball significantly. So I'm looking for a game that is going to be a shootout game, or even a team that's going to get blown out and is just going to have to launch the ball 500 times just to try to come back into it. And if I can find that matchup, I'd rather take the gamble with that.
I think that's what I looked at with Derek Carr and Alex Smith, is that if they're going to get into a shootout, the defenses on the other side of that ball are a lot better. They're a lot more.
And Alex Smith are not. I don't think that's going to be a shootout. But
no, they're not against each other.
Okay,
I'm saying, but the teams that they're playing, they're defensive. They're very good defensive teams. So that's why I kind of stayed away from being able to start one of the two. That's why I went with someone like a Carson Palmer. You're facing the 49ers. You don't have a run game right now. It's likely they're going to run a lot. They're going to throw a lot more.
But you do. You have decent running backs in there. They had a bad week, but they went up against a good line. I worry about Palmer in this matchup solely because it doesn't need to be high scoring. Now, with that said, he could come out and throw for 400 yards. It is Carson Palmer.
Yeah, right. And I'm also not looking for the world here. I mean, Carson Palmer on an average day can throw 2 to 3 touchdowns. That's really all I'm looking for. But I'm also looking to limit the amount of interceptions. And I feel like with his wide receiver core against the defense they're playing, is in a better standing right now.
If you're going to start Carson Palmer, depending on who you have is like your flex player.
And again, remember, I'm playing.
I might start J.J. Nelson to go with him.
Right.
Who
didn't do anything last week.
He had the opportunity.
He had a couple opportunities.
Just missed.
Right.
But that's the downfall. Is like I looked at my fantasy team now, minus I haven't done the best. I'm 1-2, but a lot of the players that I went after are those risk players. They're the players that are going to have those 2 shots down the field every game for that 40-plus yard touchdown. You're going to get it some weeks, and you're going to miss it others. And that's just the way it goes. But it's a high risk, high reward. If you get it, no one can touch you. And players like Tyreek Hill, Sterling Shepard showed that he can come out and do that. Players like J.J. Nelson, who's clearly the 3rd, maybe 4th option on the team, but he's the downfield threat. And he's going to get 1 or 2 shots down the field every game.
Who's your cover man? Who's Norman covering up this week when you're playing the Chiefs? Is it a Tyreek Hill, or do you stray away from him? Do you go after someone like?
I say you put him on. Tyreek Hill this week.
He won't be on Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill's a lot faster than
he's
Norman
not the
is.
number 1 threat. I mean, and
I feel if you have Norman cover someone like Tyreek Hill, he's going to be exhausted by halftime. Right, he's going to be exhausted by halftime.
Norman typically will cover the slot.
Which is where Hill lines up sometimes.
Who do they have to cover? Who do they have that's a bigger threat than Tyreek Hill?
It's not necessarily a bigger threat. It's their number 1 receiver. But Josh Norman has come out and said he doesn't necessarily like the way that Washington uses him because he wants to be a cover corner, and they're not using him that way. They're using him as a position corner.
Right.
And because of that, you're going to see changes. You're going to see him on Tyreek Hill, but I don't think you're going to see him on Tyreek Hill very often. And the problem that Tyreek Hill puts on everyone is no one has a team that's fast as him. No one does. He's the fastest player in the NFL. Second of all, he's such a utility player. He lines up in so many different spots, whether it be on the outside, whether it be on the slot, whether it be back as a running back. He's so influential to that offense. And he's going to draw so much attention because of it. And honestly,
Well, you called him a big risk, big reward player. So
Without doubt.
So what would you say against a Redskins defense, a secondary that
He's still in my lineup.
Yeah.
I refuse to take him out.
Tyreek is going for 100 yards easy this weekend.
I wouldn't say that. Tyreek is in my lineup for one reason only, and it's for that 140-yard he got past the defense, and that's the only reason why he's on my lineup. Because in my league, it's almost 25 points if he scores a 40-plus yard touchdown just for that play alone.
Yeah.
And you leave a player like Tyreek in there because he plays so many multiple positions, and because of that, you go with it. I like Alex. If I was going to pick between Derek Carr or Alex Smith this week, I would go with Alex Smith just because he's safe. He's constantly going to put up 200 yards. That's going to be a given. He's not going to turn the ball over, and they are the best at the 5-10 yard throwing game. I mean, they'll eat you alive and move the ball down the field. It's not pretty. It's not 500 yards and 5 touchdowns from Tom Brady, but it gets the job done.
Second consecutive week of AFC Offensive Player of the Year.
So,
at 40 years old, no big deal.
So if I had to play one of those two, I would go with Alex Smith. But
so I think one of the biggest questions or things that Dustin and I talked about last week was the lack of amongst, I guess, a couple of the veteran quarterbacks, but a lack of explosiveness and excitement from your veteran quarterbacks this year, and more so on the younger side. And even so, people that we didn't expect or we've already written off have come out and done some great things so far this year.
Well, outside of your veteran quarterback, or in your veteran quarterback
even
zone,
some of your veteran quarterbacks, it's been very lackluster.
What veteran quarterback, other than Tom Brady,
is having a great year?
Are you going, woo-hoo? None. None.
That's exactly how I cheer.
You're not looking at Phillip Rivers going, wow, he's phenomenal. He's having garbage time points for every game.
Right.
The team absolutely sucks. But you look at Eli Manning, the team has been a joke. You have no offensive line.
Nicely put.
And honestly, what I'm most surprised about, and it rolls downhill for every quarterback in the league, whether you're a veteran or a rookie, is the offensive line for almost every team in the NFL looks so bad.
Awful.
So bad.
There's an offensive line problem in the NFL.
It's not like the defenses on every team just suddenly figured out how to rush the quarterback.
Right.
But the offensive line can't guard anybody. And I've seen the Giants leaving Flowers in there after he's being ran by play after play after play. You got to find throw a rookie in there just to say.
It's really funny because when watching the Patriots versus Houston's in my mind has one of the best up front 4 guys in the game that you can get.
I mean, name me 4 guys besides that are better.
I already gave you a compliment, Dustin. Take it and shut up. So when I'm watching the Patriots and I'm seeing Brady really only get touched a handful of times, I got to give credit to the Patriots, and you got to feel almost humbled as a Patriots fan, like, wow, look what they were able to do against one of the best defenses in the league up front. So going forward, you should feel pretty good if you're a Patriots fan. Look what you were able to do. And again, you had Gronk in, you had Dwayne Allen in for most of your plays, but still, you were able to contain a team like that, and you got very lucky on a couple stripped fumbles as well. But yeah, looking across the league, you go, who really has the best offensive line right now? Because even Zeke's not even be able to get it done down in Dallas, and all they did was praise that offensive line last year. So, and not much has changed.
Nope.
So what you said, it's like an epidemic in the NFL right now that offensive lines just aren't clicking. And maybe we're just being too critical. It's week 3. Maybe we need to kind of take that whole, the first month is really about getting together, getting back in game mode and getting started. But the problem is when you have a bad offensive line so early on and you take these losses, it's really hard to come out of that hole so early on.
I want to back up on something quickly. You think allowing 5 sacks is containing the Houston D-line?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I just want to be, because they allowed 5 sacks, so I just wanted to.
And they still won.
We had to put in specifics with Houston because we all know we're.
No, I just want.
But I'm saying Houston is above. I'm saying Houston is by far in that top 3 up front defense in the league. That's what I'm saying. Is I'm giving them high praise already. The fact that the Patriots were able to still win a game and block them.
So my next question is, and I'm not really talking about this game in general. I just wanted to look up the sacks. How many sacks do you think it's okay to be allowed for a game for an offensive line?
I was very nervous about this game. I was very nervous about the Houston-New England game. I really thought... Huh?
Showed why.
Yeah, I really thought there was going to be a lot more than that. And when you say sacks, there were a couple rollouts that were also sacked as well. So I'm not really going to count 2 of those, and I can recall them. So I'm going to say, like, let's go with 3.5. That's pretty damn good against the Houston defense.
Well, I'm not saying against the Houston team. I'm just saying in general against an NFL defense. How many sacks would you expect your O-line to give up a game?
You have a top-tier defense, and you have a mid-level defense, and then you have a bad defense. If you have a bad defense, you shouldn't be allowing a sack.
Right.
Period.
Like, I don't believe the Pats did the Pats sack Deshaun Watson at least once, because their
like
pass
2 or 3.
rush is
yeah,
god awful.
but Deshaun Watson rolls out.
There were probably like 5 or 6 plays where if there was a quarterback who was not mobile
you can look back
the ball,
among all the games the Pats have played so far. Their defense is terrible. They don't get any pressure on the quarterback whatsoever.
No, if you're playing the
let up the
elite
most
defenses,
points, I think, throughout the
year. I think if you can contain it to 4 sacks or less.
Right now in this league, you're doing pretty. You're doing your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many games?
Yeah.
Have we
Ideally,
seen 6,
you should
7,
be letting
8
up. You
sacks
should be letting up.
I was just trying to figure out what your guys' benchmark is for that. How many sacks should a team give up in a game, and at what point? Because we've seen a lot of bad offensive
all right. If I'm
lines.
going to answer that, 0. You should be giving up 0.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're giving up 2 or 3, and like
terrible.
I said, across the league right now, everyone seems to be doing that. And there's defenses all over the place that are getting.
We have multiple
whether they're
people
good sacks
with
or
6
they're bad
sacks a game.
sacks.
Yeah.
Right.
There are multiple players with almost 6 sacks a game. I mean, that stands for itself.
So like in this league, you have to kind of call it like an anomaly. This is not your normal NFL season right now.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking that question, just to get a sense of what you guys think for this NFL
Last
season.
year, I would have said you should be getting about maybe letting up like 1 or 2, and you're having a great game. But
that was the question. It wasn't.
But it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to
Texans.
compare that, because then you're saying as a defense, how many touchdowns do you let up to say, okay, you had a good defense? If you let up 2 touchdowns, did you have a good defense? Did you let
And
up
the
3
downfall
touchdowns?
is the more of the running style quarterback that comes out, I don't count a quarterback rolling out and run and getting sacked.
Right.
A sack, but
If I'm not mistaken, isn't a
frightening
pitch
me.
behind the line also a sack as well, or no?
No,
not.
not a
Okay.
pitch to the running back. Well, no, not a pitch to the running
Okay.
back. If the running back has the ball, it's not a sack. But there are a lot of plays where it's like,
Maybe it's direct snap is what I'm thinking.
there were a few plays like, and I'll use Deshaun Watson as an example, had this amazing play, only got the ball back to the line of scrimmage, but like was still an amazing play. You see that quite a bit in the NFL where, you have quarterbacks that can get it back.
And that's what I
to the
mean
line
too.
of
Like
scrimmage.
if Brady's rolling up and gets tackled 1 yard behind the line and you call it a sack, I'm like, okay, sure it
you
is.
lost a
It's
yard.
not. It's not what you think of when you think of a sack.
When I think of
you
a sack, I
you
think
like
of
5 or 6
5
yards.
yards, and like,
So you say they had 5 sacks. How many of them were for how many yards?
I don't know.
Right, exactly. It doesn't say that. So I mean, right now the offensive line, but like I said, Dustin went. I'm going to just read it. Went 6-10 last week. I went 8-8. There were a lot of games last week. We had picked. Like the Baltimore-Jacksonville game was one of those. Yeah, it's still London, and when you're in London,
And we
crazy
said
things
it on
happen.
the show. If we picked the Ravens, the Jaguars would win. If we picked the Jaguars, the
But
Ravens
if you look at the statistics for how Jacksonville plays in London,
Right, they won their last 2 beforehand.
and London is also averaging almost 40 points a game in London.
Right, but it's not a one-sided offense. It's for both teams. So
Yes.
it's one of those where we said, okay, the Ravens should at least, if not win, keep it close or something like that. And it wasn't even.
That was the worst quarterback start.
We
I've
can
ever
confirm
say that we're-
Joe Flacco is elite after last week.
It's elite. However, if you're a Jacksonville fan or just a fan in general and just don't really like the Ravens, that was a fun game to watch. I ended up watching it. I was able to Chromecast it to my TV and watch it great. I had a lot of fun watching Jacksonville just beat up on the Ravens because I just had a lot of bad blood with the Ravens
I
over
hate
the
the
years.
Ravens
So I
so
didn't mind
much.
that.
Last year, did I not give Jacksonville props? I said they're a dangerous team.
What's
This year,
the record
I
right
said
now?
Jacksonville can be a dangerous team. That defense is solid.
Jacksonville at 2-1,
The defense
Tennessee
is
at
good.
2-1,
And
Houston
the-
at 1-2 in the
thing
bottom
that
of the division.
Jacksonville has finally figured out this year is that Blake Bortles is looking like a competent NFL quarterback.
Didn't he loses like one of his best wide receivers, and they're still
Yes.
2-1 in the year?
I think,
Allen Robinson.
I think the Jaguars go as
They have
far as
Allen
Blake
Hurns
Bortles
still, right?
carries them. And I think the AFC South is going to be one of the best divisions in football next year because the Colts will get Andrew Luck back next year, and now you have 4 decent quarterbacks in that division.
Will
just
Andrew
said-
Luck come back next year?
I mean, I think he's dead, but I've been told, I've seen him on TV, so I guess
Still
he's
not
alive.
practicing.
I guess he's alive.
He's already, I guess, quote unquote, been ruled out for this week because he hasn't practiced.
I don't
since
know what's
Thursday.
going on with Andrew Luck, but I guess they're taking the more cautious approach to his injury. The Colts are going to fire Chuck Pagano at the end of the year. That's pretty much almost certain. And that division next year will be a lot of fun to watch because you have the Titans and the Jags that'll be good. Houston seems to have figured out a quarterback situation. And then you have the Colts who have Andrew Luck, who, when healthy, Andrew Luck is the best quarterback in that division.
Andy's playing
So,
the Seahawks this week at home, Sunday Night Football.
Seahawks are going to win
Ouch.
that. That's going to be
I don't
bad.
know. Brissett, I have a lot of faith in him.
I like watching Jacoby
I like
Brissett.
watching
That
him
was-
play. He's very similar to watching someone
The
like
only
a
thing you
Deshaun
got to
Watson
remember with
play.
that is that Seattle's not Seattle of the past.
No,
But they are at home. It's a little different when they're away.
This is
Completely,
true.
actually, almost a 180 when they're away.
This is true.
Last week at Tennessee, right? And Tennessee ended up winning that game. So again, they're not the same team home as they are
I think
away.
the Rams can win that division this year, actually. Just looking at how bad that division is.
The only reason I will say I believe the Rams could win that division is the fun fact of the day: who has scored the most points this year in the NFL?
The Rams.
Los Angeles Rams at 107 points. Who has scored the second most points in the league?
Patriots. Right?
Patriots, 99. But who has led up the most points this year in the season so far?
Is it
The
Houston?
Patriots. So if you are a Cam Newton enthusiast, in my
Do
opinion,
not play Cam Newton.
Do not.
Don't play
Don't.
Cam
Cam
I'm
Newton
saying
is
as a
dead.
fan, get excited because the Patriots have shown that anyone can throw for 300 yards
No.
against
Carolina
them.
is
Cam-
not excited
Cam.
about Cam Newton.
You should
right now.
be. You should
Cam
be this
Newton,
week.
I am actually angry about that because Cam Newton's injuries concerns have the Panthers have rushed him back, and it's going to ruin Cam. Like his shoulder is not. I'm sure you saw some of his throws last night. His shoulder is
Who's
not
their
healthy.
backup?
Derek Anderson.
Oh, give me some Derek Anderson.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cam Newton accuracy is
As a Pats fan,
so bad.
I'll preface it by saying, as a Pats fan, I have absolutely zero faith in the defense right now because they're making everyone look like an all-star quarterback. So
The
at this
downfall
time,
is
so at this-
Carolina doesn't even have their weapons right now.
Carolina
Benjamin's
is-
out.
regardless-
Greg Olson's out. You're left with Funchess and McCaffrey.
we love Funches though.
and
McCaffrey's
he
still
drops
running
every
for.
ball.
What did McCaffrey go for last week?
McCaffrey's the threat, but
Right.
it's the only
And
threat.
here's the difference between what the Colts are
Right,
doing.
but I'm saying as the Patriots defense, there's no rush, there's no pass rush right now. There's nothing. So if you have someone like McCaffrey, could probably go off.
And here's the thing that I look at with the Panthers Patriots game. The Colts are doing the right thing by Andrew Luck by letting him sit out and heal. The Panthers, I think, rushed Cam Newton back, and I think it's awful.
For no reason. Derek Anderson's a
They
reliable
could
backup.
be 2-1 with the games that they've played so far. They could easily be 2-1 if Derek Anderson and have Cam Newton slowly coming back through his progressions and getting healthy for when it's time.
They
for
are
you know,
2-1.
for when you. But like you could have had Derek Anderson and have actually Cam Newton get 3 weeks to heal up more. Like he's throwing 1 day in practice a week. He's not healthy, and it sucks to see. But Patriots are going to win that game easily. But I just weird year of football.
Carolina's only loss was last week. Yeah, against New Orleans. They've won the last 2 times.
How you lose to New Orleans, though, is
Well, the Pats again almost showed how you lose to the New Orleans as well. You let them throw.
You let Drew Brees throw the ball.
Right, and I think it's really all. I mean, if Cam Newton can have an average day, the Pats defense right now, unless for some reason something clicks this week, I have no faith in them as well. The stats show it. They've let up the most points so far this year, and I get they've played some pretty good offensive attacks between Alex Smith and Drew Brees, but I still don't. It's like you're going from maybe some of the top to an average. I still think he's going to throw. He's going to put it together a pretty average.
you
day.
went from two elites to a rookie.
Who has a lot of promise. You've had 3 great quarterbacks to play so far this year And it's shown that a lot of holes in your defense.
Yep.
Now, what are you going to get with an average quarterback? I still don't have faith. I'm hoping that this might be the turnaround game for the Patriots, where you have a quarterback that doesn't have his weapons, doesn't have anything, which is pretty much what they faced all of last year. Quarterbacks and offenses that didn't either have their best weapons or the quarterbacks.
I think it is the turnaround week for the offense because they faced Deshaun Watson last week and had a chance to see how a scrambling quarterback would face against that offense or that defense.
Now you have a stronger scrambling
And
quarterback.
I think you have a stronger scrambling quarterback, but now I think they're going to be more battle-tested and ready. I think the Patriots rebound this week.
But they're not going to run Cam Newton like that.
No,
They've been
They can't.
avoiding it because they don't want him to get
And what was
hurt.
very impressive about watching Deshaun Watson last week was it wasn't run to
Run. It
was
was
like
like
four or
run.
five
It was run to
design
pass. His head's always upfield, and I think it's extremely impressive.
For a
And
rookie.
if you're a Houston fan, you should be extremely excited and
first
hope.
time
Again,
since 2015, the Texans have scored more than 30 points in a game.
it's only been 2 years.
It was that's
30 points in a game.
That's 32 games in a row without being able to score 30 points in a game. Like, it's
pretty awful.
It was really fun to watch and actually be like, whoa.
You should
we
find out
might
how many times
actually-
they've been scored on 30 points or more.
Oh, a ton. We might
Best
actually
defense in the
have,
league.
we might actually have a quarterback. So that was
I think
fun
you
to
have a
watch.
quarterback. It's the part the tricky part is going to be keeping him healthy.
And we don't have a
the fact that he
secondary,
is
but-
already looking upfield. He's not running to run. He's running to throw. Is
He
very
still has
promising.
a lot of work to do.
Sure.
though.
He's going to
He's
throw
got a lot of work
15
to do.
terrible interceptions like he had in the page. Like, he's going to throw a lot of picks this year. But the difference between riding it out with a guy
How
like
many
Tom
picks did he have
Savage
against
and
the Pats?
Deshaun Watson,
Only one, and that was a
were-
bad throw. But he also had a very nice back shoulder throw
But that's the
in the
thing,
end
like-
zone, which was what they were talking about on the. I think it was Dan Fouts was doing the CBS announcement. Said quarterbacks don't make that. Rookie quarterbacks don't make that throw.
Look, it makes sense to ride with him because for every bad pick he's going to throw, he's going to have a throw like that, and it's game experience. It's better than letting him ride on the bench. You know, he's seeing actual NFL defenses.
Well,
and
you
playing
had a
against
whopping half of football that you watched Tom Savage, and you said, "Yeah,
them. Yeah, I was ready. To
Was
put
it a
the
half?
it was a half."
I was
I think
ready
it was
to
a
put-
half. I think it
was a half.
I think it just got to like. I think it was in the middle of the second quarter, and we said we see.
I had the bag over my head in the second quarter of that Jaguars game. I was already cutting out the holes in the bag. But hey, fortunes change. So
He saw good things in Savage in camp.
yeah, well, that's what everybody says in camp.
No, I don't say that. I say it's preseason. Don't pay attention to it. You can't.
Oh, Tom Savage.
What did I say before? That the three quarter of the two backup quarterbacks the Patriots had, they will not be your next starting quarterback, and one's already gone. I guarantee you that Jimmy Garoppolo will not be the starting quarterback surpassing or after Tom Brady is gone. It's not going to happen.
So other things
So
happening
again,
in
not
the
getting
NFL.
excited. Not getting excited for camp is what I'm trying to say. Like
I
you got to
look-
kind of take it with a grain of salt
Salt, yeah. Okay, well,
for pepper, but it's fine.
um,
One of the bigger, clearly one of the bigger things that are going on around the NFL that it seems that most teams are going to take a step back more this week, and it was really more this week about showing up. Who I believe you can say all you want that a lot of the protests that are going around the NFL are about equality through police brutality with what stemmed from Colin Kaepernick from last year. I truly believe that this last week was more about showing up our president of the United States than anything, to show unity amongst the players and teams. Dustin's already kind of groaning over there. I think that, and I'll just let you take it from there. We're talking about the kneeling for the NFL, the protests that are going on. So Dustin, you had to take.
I hate the whole unity thing. I hate when a billionaire who donated millions of dollars to Trump's campaign gets to get on one knee and say that he is now unified with his players. Because the fact of the matter is that this is now being construed as a
Trump
protest
attacked
against-
them. Trump attacked his team and his players.
I'll get to that in a
and he
second.
didn't before.
I'll get
he
to that
didn't
in a
attack them
second.
before, so now it's like, okay, I gave you the $1 million. I'm expecting at least, I'm supporting you, but now you're trash talking me. Now I'm going to stand back up to you.
Did you see the
Yeah.
Jerry Jones clip of how he tracked down a cameraman just so he could be seen taking a knee with his players?
I think Jerry Jones is your anomaly
But
here,
this is what
because
bothers me
it's
about
someone
this.
I really don't want.
How much did you hear about why Colin Kaepernick originally protested this weekend? How much of the discussion was about the original reason behind the protest? Because what I have seen...
It's not, because that's not what this one was about.
And that's why I'm angry about this. Because the fact of the matter is that Trump took an unnecessary shot at Colin Kaepernick. And the issue that Colin Kaepernick was originally protesting.
He never brought up Colin Kaepernick. He brought up the players currently in the NFL.
Well,
Again,
you know where
he's not bringing up the original.
You know where it
But
stems
I
from.
don't really want to talk about Trump in that sense because I feel like he doesn't really have a handle on it anyway.
No,
So
I don't want to
him.
talk about Trump. I want to talk about the reason why players were kneeling eventually, kneeling in the first place to protest police brutality. It's not about protesting a flag.
But that's
It's
not why the
about-
players were protesting.
This week, correct.
And this is why I'm really angry about this subject, because now it's being picked up in the media as a show of unity, and it's like
I think
it's
because
not.
it is. This week was about a show of
But
unity
what are we
amongst.
unifying about?
They're unifying against a one common evil. That's what they're trying to talk about.
And
That's
what does the
this week was.
unifying
But
against
I
the
think
one
this-
common evil solve? What is the unifying doing?
I didn't say it was solving it.
How
I'm
was
giving
standing-
you facts. I'm not giving you opinions.
It was standing up to a guy who said that if you kneel, you should be fired, and they all looked at him and said,
No,
that's
Right.
not the way
I'm
it
not
works."
gonna. If I want to kneel for something I believe in, then fine, I'll get fired. But I'm going to do it, and that's what the players did. I was a little more upset with a lot of. They showed I think every team, wherever you were, showed the national anthem for this very reason. And honestly, kudos to those networks for doing that because if anything, they got a little bit of ratings out of it by showing the national. Because most broadcasts they don't, unless it's Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, they don't show the national anthem.
They never do.
So kudos to them for doing that because that's smart on their executive half. But I was very shocked with how many boos I heard during the New England team because I feel like fans still don't understand this isn't about disrespecting the flag. And a lot of the players have come out and said, I'd say majority of the players, 99% of the players have come out and said, this is not about disrespecting the flag. This is about just joining unity, about joining together to show you that we are together. We are one family right now as an NFL in general, not just per team.
This is going to be my. I'm going to say it's going to be my only little rant into this, and I know it's not, but I'm going to really, really try for it to be my only rant, given this topic. When you look at what has happened, as a kid, we are all taught two wrongs don't make a right.
No, but two
basic
lefts
sense.
make a U-turn.
And what Trump did was insane and stupid. But when you look at what the NFL did in response to it, what has it done around the world? Has it brought unity? No, it's failed miserably. You are having...
I think it's been confusing.
You've had thousands of fans come out and boycott the NFL. Every social media is plagued
Have you
and
seen the
littered
fans
with...
burning up their season tickets?
Yes.
I just want to echo my brother. Can I just have them? I don't mind going to the game.
Yeah,
I'm still...
And this is what I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish.
Wow, I lost my seat there.
Because I want to piggyback on something he's saying right now.
The point of a protest is to bring knowledge and to bring awareness into a situation. What this was the NFL looking at Donald Trump saying, "We don't care."
I don't
who
think
you
it's
are.
we won't be bullied by you. I think that's what this protest was solely about.
This is what makes me mad
But it
because
turned the American society against them.
Right.
It's the number one problem, which is why you've had almost every NFL owner come out and
Honestly, though,
backtrack where they were.
Here's what I want to say about the NFL when it comes to Trump. You picked the worst opponent in America to go up against if you're Donald
without a
Trump.
doubt.
You do not go up against the most profitable organization in America right now, and that's the NFL.
Yeah.
It's unreal because for every fan that says I'm not watching a game, there's probably about 100 more that says I will. I honestly believe that. Go on, Dustin.
I want to piggyback on what JT said because this is what I hated about the protest. And because what are you protesting? You're protesting Donald Trump. The reason why Colin...
They're protesting their right.
Right.
Their right to protest, basically.
Their right
And I
to
can do
protest. But
whatever way I
protesting
want
your
to.
right to protest doesn't
But
fix
yes,
anything.
it's that underlying is Donald Trump said you shouldn't be able to do this. You should be fired for it.
Colin Kaepernick originally took a knee because black people in certain places cannot go outside without the fear of being gunned down. For whatever reason it is. Yes, some cases there is, yes, there are some cases where the cop was in the right, but there have been a lot more cases where the cops have been in the wrong.
I want to say a lot more cases.
A lot more. And what I saw this weekend was NFL players after a year of, some stepping out and taking and saying, yeah, I'm going to kneel for this national anthem because of the police brutality. Donald Trump has a rally in Alabama and calls them the SOB, and now all these players are unified, You know what Colin Kaepernick did that we don't talk about? He donated millions of his own money to foundations in these black communities where these black kids are growing up to help out the cause. If Jerry Jones wants to take a knee with his players to show unity, then Jerry Jones needs to also donate $1 million of his own money to help the cause that was being protested.
How do you know he's not? This is a conversation that John and I had with a bunch of our friends. How do you know these people aren't doing it, but for some reason you're just not hearing about it?
Well, there's a reason why, but
I think if they were I think if Jerry Jones donated $1 million to a foundation that's helping impoverished black community members, you would hear about it for the right reasons. But what gets me mad is now that the NFL is hopping on this unity bandwagon, and what the protest was about originally has been completely overshadowed, and black people in places still can't go outside without the fear of being shot in 2017. So I don't care who is sitting down, you're like, oh, it's great that we're locking arms in a show of unity. Does everybody know what they're unifying over? Like, it became a protest
Okay,
against...
now, here's where I want to preface that. The players, I believe, do know why they're unifying.
Right.
The fans have no clue.
And there's
absolutely
a lot of
no clue.
players.
And that's why you're seeing boos, you're seeing cheers, and you're seeing confused faces. Because the fans don't understand, should we be supporting our players because of Kaepernick? Should we be doing it because of equality for police protection? Should we be doing it for Trump? Should we be doing it for... They don't know. The fans don't know. No one is looking at this with a level head. And that's the problem.
And this is what bothers me about this subject.
Players, I 100% believe the players know why they're kneeling.
I think there are a lot of players, and if you see them, you know why they're kneeling, because they are... And I think there's a difference between the locking the arms and the kneeling. The Patriots players that you saw on the sideline that were sitting down for the national anthem, were kneeling for the national anthem, you know
all the defense. By the
you
way.
know those. You know that defense, and you know that a lot of those players on that defense have opinions on police brutality because you've heard about them before, and that's what I really wish the NFL would have done better with this. Is that why? Like, you're protesting something Donald Trump said in a rally, but he's saying.
I think that was made clear. I think that fans were just a little ignorant in understanding why the players were kneeling this weekend. And again, the players have come out this week and said they don't plan to kneel this week because they feel they made their point with what.
So my question to you is,
with the attacks that Donald Trump had taken on them.
The NFL will do a whole month of Pretty in Pink Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep.
Why can't we have a Police Brutality Awareness Month?
Okay, and then why can't we have a Children's Cancer Month? And why can't we have?
But this is why.
What else do you want, Dustin? You want every month to be something in the NFL?
If I have NFL players that are kneeling because of police brutality, and the NFL wants to come in and get a bunch of press about this, then they should turn around and give us at least 1 week where they highlight police brutality and what's going on.
One of the funniest things
is education. A lot of these fans don't know why people were protesting. How do you show why these people were protesting? You show the topic they're protesting about.
The weird part about all of this is Trump was technically right about how they should be standing for the national anthem. The NFL does have rules and regulations in part of their game day rule book and manual that states a player must stand for the national anthem with their this is very specific, with a helmet in their left hand and their right hand over their heart during the national anthem to respect what I don't remember what the actual words were, but it gets so specific in how you should act for the national anthem. So as painful as it is to say, like, okay, clearly he's technically right, they should be standing, but it's because it's in a rule book. And that's where I kind of get into it. It's like, yeah, well, you probably should follow. If that's the rules, you probably should do that. And what I'm going to use to back this up is with Villanueva for the Pittsburgh Steelers went out and stood for the national anthem. It was the understanding of the Pittsburgh organization they were not going to go out for the national anthem. They were going to protest it within their locker room. He went out. He's a former Army vet or Marine vet. I don't know what his... Okay, so he's a veteran nonetheless. So he went out and did it, and he said, he kind of regretted doing it because he feels like he let his team down by separating. And one of their players, David DeCastro, a guard for them, had said, and this really stuck out in my mind, I wish there was a different way to do this. And my only thought is, there's a million ways you can do this. There's absolutely a million ways. You don't have to take a knee, confuse millions upon millions of people while you're doing it, when there's clearly more ways you can do it. You can actually act on it. If you want to protest these things, do something about it. Literally put your money where your mouth is. Don't just take a knee. Don't just walk in.
We have
do something about
disasters all over the world that have crippled areas.
I feel like sitting or kneeling for the national is in my opinion, it's not really. It's not. It's kind of bringing awareness, but I think it's bringing a lot more confusion than awareness.
It's bringing confusion, and it's creating a bigger divide.
Yes.
Which that's the problem. It's the division that is causing the problems. And I brought this up with our friends. Is the going along the Black Lives Matter, going along the lines of the Blue Lives Matter. It's got to stop. Life matters. Call it what it is. The more you divide, the more you create separation between each group and each cause, the more you are doing the exact thing that we're trying to bring awareness and fight against, which is racism, sexism, all of that nonsense. Or not nonsense, but all of that. All we are doing is dividing, and all that this has done has divided more people. The downfall that the NFL has is that Donald Trump specifically brought it out to kneeling at the national anthem. So the only way that they could come out and protest of Donald Trump
is by doing what he said,
doing what he said
not to do.
Not to do. So
it's no different than your child and your mom.
Exactly.
Don't stay out past 10 o'clock. You can't. You're not allowed. What do you do? Stay out past 10 o'clock. I mean, that's just...
Also, this is a little tidbit that I looked up before the show.
Your brother says not to do something, you're going to do it.
The NFL only adopted the rules for standing above the national anthem after the government put a bunch of money into adding patriotic activities to football games. Right. There's a report given a couple years ago showing how much our government spends on honoring troops, paying $5,000 to honor troops. So
it's trying to recruit people into the military.
So the whole idea of the national anthem at football games is already a murky subject because of how it was played. Because back in the 60s, you didn't go out for the national. It wasn't a thing in the 60s.
Again, we go back to the most profitable business in America and the most corrupt business.
And to say about the whole
America.
standing for the national anthem, it's the one thing that gets said a million times. Right. While your players were kneeling to the national anthem and you were home watching the game, what were you doing?
Sitting.
You were sitting.
Sitting.
And I get it's kind of difficult to say, well, I don't always stand for the national anthem. When I'm home, I'm not actually there. It doesn't count. And it's like, well, maybe it should count. So there's so many different ways you can interpret this, because that's what you ask if you ask someone that's really patriotic about it and just very passionate and say, what were you doing? And they say they're sitting. Do they lose their argument already? I mean, there's so many different ways you can look at it. I wanted to just bring up the New York Times did a great article, in my opinion, with Eric Reed, who's a former teammate of Colin Kaepernick. And a couple things they talked about was one of the preseason games that we didn't, I actually don't remember. Colin Kaepernick didn't, the first time he protested the flag or the national anthem wasn't by kneeling. Do you guys remember this? Mm-hmm. He actually sat for an entire game, and I didn't remember that. I thought it started with kneeling. He had a conversation with Eric Reed. They had a very in-depth, week-long discussion leading up to that game, the next game, and they said, what can we do to better, to properly protest what we're trying to fight for and what we're trying to bring awareness to? He says, why don't we kneel? And the reason, the symbolicness behind the kneeling is because they wanted to kind of act, it represented to them the posture that they showed in kneeling the way they did was to show a flag at half staff or half mast, which shows tragedy amongst our people. Yeah. And I thought that's actually a great way. In my opinion, that was a great way of doing it. If you had actual thought behind it, I'm just learning about this now. Did anyone else know that was the reason they knelt? That's the symbolic reason they knelt, because that's actually that's extremely.
And this is the thing that has gotten me
that's fantastic to me. Kind of puts it all into perspective for me. Now I know that, and John and I have talked about this before. There were also things that Kaepernick did that kind of put him in extremely bad light. So, after protesting, and he's also apologized for those things, saying I was definitely out of line. I shouldn't have taken those routes. But
Kaepernick kneeled, and then he put his money where his mouth is and donated to these organizations.
Well, first what was it, John? He wore socks with pigs on it. Yeah. So
right. And look, protests are not if you feel comfortable during a protest, then it's not working. All right. So what makes me mad about this past weekend is that Donald Trump made it about himself, and the NFL, which has a lot of owners that have given money to Donald Trump, had made it about showing this unity. And
go ahead.
It annoys me that the original reason behind these protests was not talked about and was not given the light that they originally wanted to give.
Wait, from this past week or in general? Or from the beginning?
The reason why people started taking a knee from the beginning.
Well, that's because whoa. For the last year, that's all anyone's been talking about.
No one's going to bring up what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for during this incident because it had no relevance to it.
And that's what I mean. That's where the confusion with fans comes in. This is not about equality.
This was telling Mom, I'm staying up.
This is
Mom, I'm not eating my.
I'm taking the car this weekend.
What does it accomplish?
But I'm not. I don't have an answer for you.
It's
Dustin.
putting your middle finger up to Donald Trump.
That's
that
what it
accomplishes nothing in the grand scheme of things.
It doesn't matter.
It wasn't meant to.
It wasn't meant. That's what I mean.
And that's what bothers me about this.
But we're not disagreeing with you. That's the problem. You're yelling at us, but we're not disagreeing with you.
I don't think we're disagreeing, but I wish it would have mattered, and I wish the NFL would have made it about the police brutality. But
it's not what it was supposed to be about.
It should have been about that. Because that's why they originally kneeled.
They should all be tied in, but they're not tied in.
And
but I wanted to have a healthy discussion. I believe we did. I think we got a lot of good facts out there. I think we got a lot of good opinions out there. We have 15 minutes left.
Now tell us about our picks.
Let's talk about who we're going to pick this week for the fantasy football. We also, not for fantasy football, but for our picks. We also have to figure out a way because Mr. JT here has not been here for the last 3 weeks. So what do we do about your picks that you never sent to us for the week?
Give me the average between the two of you.
No.
Well, how fair is that? Well, the only thing I could think of, is to take your average from last year, your percentage from last year, and maybe take a few percentage points off that, and then translate it to what your record would be.
No.
I don't know what your average would be between the two of us.
That means
all that does is put you in between us.
It really makes no difference. I'm still going to smoke Dustin by the end. I'll have a hard time catching you, I'm sure. But
I still emailed you my picks. The week I was in New Jersey, I still had the time to email you my picks.
Listen, homeboy.
What?
Okay? You have children at home?
No, I don't.
No? Shut up.
I coach 2 volleyball teams.
All right, there are 47 games so far.
That's
There are 47 games so far.
You want to smoke me?
If you are the NFL pick'em expert that we believe you can be, and that you believe as well, you should be able to make up that deficit of 0-47.
0-47.
Do you take up that challenge? Do you take that challenge? You have to, and here's the best part, right? You don't even have to beat us. You can just fall.
Well, you
don't need to beat us. You don't have to beat us. Ready? You just have to go 500 for the year. That's all. So you have to make up a 47 deficit by going 500. That's not terrible.
So here's what I think is fair.
That's a lot of 12 and 2s.
So here's what I think is fair, because for the first 2 weeks we tied. We were 19-12 heading into last week. So let's give you 19-12 right off the bat, because we've been tied, so we won't make you start from behind. Do you want to give him 7 wins last week and put him a game ahead of me, or do you want to put him 2 games behind me from last week?
If anything, you should have the same amount of wins as you did last week.
So let's say JT comes in at what?
And just as a penalty. It's not that you would have gotten him wrong, but as a penalty, you should have gotten him.
I'll take a 5 game back.
You want to take a 5 game back just for fairness?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
5 games back.
Okay, 5 games back. So that's what we 5 games.
But if JT does win this year, I want an asterisk next to that because
he's taking steroids.
I took 3. It took 3 weeks to get my picks in, but look, we're giving you
first game of the night, Thursday Night Football tonight. If you're watching us tomorrow, it was yesterday. How'd your team do? Chicago at Green Bay.
This is an interesting game.
I want to preface this by saying a lot of these games this week are interesting games because the NFL has been so screwy these first 3 weeks. I don't think I've seen a perfect week yet out of any pick'ems that I'm in right now.
The smart money would be on the Packers, but because of how weird the NFL has been this year, you could see the Bears winning this game. I'm going to pick the Packers, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears found a way to win.
Yeah, I can't bet on the Bears, but they've been in every game. They almost beat Atlanta.
They almost beat Steelers,
too.
too.
Almost beat the Steelers. No, they did beat the Steelers.
No, they didn't beat the Steelers. Did they?
Yeah, they beat the Steelers.
Oh, right, yes, they almost beat Atlanta for the first game.
And
then they beat the Steelers. But we've also seen that the Steelers aren't who we really thought they were, too. So.
No. Well, no team in the NFL is who we thought they were. Let's be realistic here. But I will go with the Packers.
I mean, I think we all thought that the Rams are who we thought they were.
I mean, I like
I'm
the
kidding.
Rams.
Going on. So you're going with the Packers as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Another London game this week. New Orleans at Miami. Miami.
Oh, that's a London game?
Yeah. Miami. Oh, by the way, we're playing football Sunday morning. If you want.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay,
we have 8 now. Sweet. New Orleans at Miami in London. New Orleans at Miami at London.
I
So
was picking this game as the Dolphins because I thought they were playing in Miami.
even if they did lose to the Jets last week. The Jets that were supposed to go 0-16, 1-15 this
also,
year. They got their one win. So
Interdivisional
in New Orleans,
matchups are always funky.
but New Orleans did bring new life last week. So, I mean,
I think the Dolphins are going to come out angry, and I think they're going to win. I'm picking up in an upset.
okay.
I go New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm going New Orleans as well. I had so much faith in Miami this year, and they're 1-1 this year. I get they're 1-1. They didn't play their first game, but
They played so bad
against the Jets that now they have an actual quarterback to play against. I have no faith whatsoever in Miami.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to change your pick?
I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
I haven't
You know
written
what?
it down yet.
The
Are
NFL
you
is
sure?
weird. I'm going with
What?
the Dolphins. It's been a stupid NFL year.
Welcome to London. Buffalo at Atlanta.
Atlanta. Tell me you want to pick
Atlanta.
At Atlanta.
Tell me you want to pick against
I gotta
the
go
Dolphins.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't think
Like-
Buffalo won last week, right? No.
Buffalo was 2-1,
Carolina beat them last week.
but I don't understand how the Bills are 2-1.
They haven't played anybody.
Well, if they're going to go 2-2 this
They
week.
played the Jets the second week. No, the first week. They played
Don't frown
Carolina
on
the second week and lost. And then they played they played Denver. Yeah, they played Denver at home and won. So
That is always West Coast teams don't do well on the East Coast.
and vice versa. So all Atlanta.
All Atlanta.
PJD. Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
Who cares?
I'm going to take the Ravens this week because I think there's something to be said after getting embarrassed
In London?
in London.
I'm going to take the Steelers because they didn't have to go to London and back. So I would say, okay, we're going from being in Pittsburgh to being in Baltimore. Not a huge trip. I'm going to take
The Ravens
Steelers,
are at home.
Steelers with rest.
It always feels like the Ravens and the Steelers split the home and home between them in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to take the Ravens coming back this week and actually showing some fire.
Nope.
Steelers?
Yep.
Okay. What did I put you on? Sorry, that's a D. One for the Ravens. Cincinnati at Cleveland. This might be the worst game of the week. Now, the best part is one of these teams will have, well, I guess that's not technically true. One of the teams could have a win by the end of this
I
week.
want to do something that's going to make you smile. Cleveland.
Okay.
What?
You say that? I've picked them twice so far this year, and I haven't been profitable from it. I'm
I mean,
also going with Cleveland.
I'm taking Cleveland.
I'm taking the Bengals.
Oh my God, Dustin.
Wait, what?
I know. It's been a weird season. It's been a weird season.
But
Now,
they-
I would
they
like to
almost-
preference. Dustin, I did say to you that I had some insight on the Bengals.
You didn't
Browns
say
game.
you didn't say what game it was. What is the insight you have?
I have the Joe Halco keys to the game.
Oh.
Was one of our board members who is from Cleveland, huge Cleveland fan, and just he cries every week. I have the three things that they need to succeed. One, catch the ball. Do not drop it. They have too many drops this year. They need to start running the football. He said that I forget who their running back is for Cleveland. Yeah, I know. We're all going to go with that moment.
I'm going to change my mind.
Nope,
I'm going to
sorry.
the Browns. I'm going to the Browns.
You can't.
I changed
No.
it.
And the big thing he said was the defense just has to stay healthy because they have some great names on that defense, but they're not playing.
They're a
You have
talented
brought
team.
new information and analysis to light. So I am changing my pick
You are not
after the
changing your
I
analysis.
don't want to. I don't
You are
want
not
to. You've
changing your
locked it
pick.
in.
You didn't tell me about the analysis. You can't.
Analysis from
You
a fan.
can't bring. You can't be like,
Analysis from a
lock
fan.
it in and then bring new stuff to light. You brought
my
new stuff to
God.
light.
Los Angeles at Dallas Cowboys. I think this will be a really good game.
Upset of the
honestly.
week. I'm taking the Rams.
That's an upset.
That's my
I
upset.
think your upset's the opposite way. I think your upset is picking Dallas.
I like the Rams.
Again, the Rams-
I'm on the Rams hype train.
Rams have scored most points so far this year,
I like the Rams. I'm taking the Rams.
and they're 2-1. Cowboys.
Rams
sitting
coming
at-
off 10 days of rest.
Sitting at can't find it. Cowboys sitting at 2-1 as well.
I'm going to take Dallas.
Dustin with Los Angeles and JT with Dallas. I think I just have more faith in Dallas than I do with the Rams. As much as I like the Rams, I like the way they're playing. They did play the 49ers last week, and I know that was a ridiculously high-scoring game. Now you're playing Dallas, who actually
So
If it
here's
was
the thing.
in LA,
Here's why.
I might go with LA.
I
Here's
think
why I
the
like
Dallas
the Rams in this
defense is
game.
so much better than the Dallas offense so much clearly better than the 49ers offense.
Yeah.
And look what the 49ers offense did to
But
Los
here's what I
Angeles.
like
So,
about the Rams in this game is that Sean
I am going with the
McVay is their
Cowboys.
coach. Sean McVay played against the Cowboys twice a year last year as the Redskins offensive coordinator.
Against them.
But he knows the Reds. He knows the Cowboys more. It's not like this guy hasn't seen the Cowboys.
You can't fill holes. You can know them all you want, but you can't fill the hole.
But I think the Rams can win. I think
Shovel
the Rams
broken?
win.
You can borrow mine. Tennessee at Houston.
I'm going to go with my team this week. I'm picking the Texans. They looked pretty competent last week. They're going to be angry coming out this week, too. First home game since the Jaguars debacle for Houston. If this game was in Tennessee, I'd probably take the Titans.
Because of the promise of Deshaun Watson, I really want to pick Houston, but I don't want to. I really think that Patriots defense has so many holes in it that it showed off a bigger Deshaun Watson than we should.
I think this is going to be a fun game, though. I think this will be one of your games of the week right here between the Titans and Texans. I think it'll be a good game.
I really want to stick with the division winner currently, right? This division leader currently right now, and I want to go with Tennessee, and that's what I'm going to do with.
I'll go with Houston.
As much as I do like picking Houston this year, I do like that team
JT's going to the Titans. I know he's going to the Titans. JT will never pick the Texans.
This is going to be a ugly game. Ugly game.
Detroit at Minnesota. Talk about ugly.
And
I would like to point out, Mr. Case Keenum last week with 369 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of 142.
Case Keenum.
Holy crap, Case Keenum, where you been?
Case Keenum can only beat the Buccaneers. This has been proven.
A flu-driven Buccaneers.
Like a flu-driven. Like the Lions are going to win this game. I like the Lions in this game. Lions got screwed by the NFL last week.
They did. Well, they didn't. He was not over the end zone. So.
But if they would have, because of
the, they could have. Well, they couldn't have called a timeout or anything.
But because the refs had to review it, that should have given the fact that the refs reviewed it.
I agree that the time should have been put back on the clock.
And if you give them another play, I think they get into that end zone. So I like the Lions. The Lions are a good football team. Jim Caldwell is a good coach. I think they go 3-1 this week.
You gotta give me something. Don't be silent on me. Why?
Why? Minnesota's defense is fantastic. Detroit is a good team.
And with Case Keenum, Stephon Diggs still went off like crazy.
This is going to be my number one thing that I want everyone to hear.
I'm just giving it to the home.
I don't like Detroit. I don't like them. Right. What's his face? Matthew Stafford.
Right, I'm going to go with Detroit. I got a feeling. I got a feeling. Carolina at New England.
New England. Not even.
Next game.
Okay. Jacksonville at New York. Sorry.
Jaguars.
We kind of talked about it already.
Jaguars.
Jacksonville at New York.
Yeah, I'll take Jacks.
So Jacksonville also 2-1 this year. This year so far. Everyone going with that? Okay.
Yeah.
49ers at Arizona.
Arizona.
That's a sweep there. Philadelphia at Los Angeles.
Go Philadelphia. I want to see the Chargers go 0-16 as punishment.
Have they won yet?
They're 0-3.
Wow, that's. Okay.
I am so rooting. If
that's a combo pick. You guys are picking them. I'm going to pick them.
If there is one team in the NFL that I'm rooting to go 0-16, it is the Los Angeles Chargers.
What do you have against Phil Rivers?
The Chargers.
He's so goofy and dumpy looking anyway. Why do you have to?
Spanos is a terrible owner, and the only other team that should be in LA is either the Rams or the Raiders. And moving the Chargers to the 30,000-seat StubHub Center because you want to be famous and you don't like San Diego is one of the stupidest franchise moves ever. And I love that their stadium is filled by opposing team fans, and I love that they're 0-3, and I want to see them go 0-16 and crash and
not even
burn.
showing up in the stadiums. Some of these pictures before kickoff are hilarious.
It's good because the Chargers do not deserve to be in LA.
No, it's bad. It's bad for football.
Very bad for football. That doesn't show good light right now. And they're already not in the best of light.
Move them back to San Diego.
2 minutes.
Next game.
Yep. Giants at Buccaneers.
Giants at Buccaneers.
And the Buccaneers are now a healthier Buccaneers, we should say.
I'm going with the Giants.
I'm so torn on this one.
I like Jameis. I'm going to the Bucs.
Well, I like Jameis too, and I have absolutely zero faith in the Giants as well.
McAdoo gets canned at the end of this year. Actually, here's a hot take.
Make it till the end of the year.
I think McAdoo doesn't make it to week 10 or 11.
I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with Tampa. Oakland at Denver.
I'm taking Denver.
I feel like this should be a good game.
This will be a fun game. I'm taking Denver though.
But it's in Denver.
Yeah, I'm taking Denver.
That scares me.
I'm taking Oakland.
Why taking Oakland?
I'm taking Oakland because they can't play that bad 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, yes, they can.
Are you sure?
Are you sure, bud?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Denver. I like the home team. Indy at Seattle.
Seahawks destroy the Colts.
And Monday night game, Washington Redskins at Kansas City. This actually might be a really good game, too. I think we're going to have a few good games and a couple bad games.
It's going to be a good game, but I'm taking Kansas City.
I'm going to take Kansas City as well. That is going to do it. So we've decided that JT will have a 5-game
He'll be 5 games behind.
behind you?
Yep, behind
me.
him.
Oh, behind you. Okay,
Yeah.
so JT, I'll figure that out later.
So I'll be 20 and 27.
20 and 27 will be JT. So JT at 20 and 27 to start his stand. So he's 7 games back. Are you okay with that? For me, 5 games behind him. No.
I'm not worried.
Not worried at all.
Nope.
I mean, I would like to point out I did win by 1 game last year. That's going to do it for us on Huddle Up. Dustin, JT, and Paul will hopefully be back next week for week 5 of the NFL season. So take care.